99th episode of Elysabeth's Whining About Movies is brought to you by the first annual Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival. Entries are open until December 1st. Did you make a movie?
I wish I had made a movie.
You really can't because you're a judge.
Every day you change that story. Because when I say I wish I had made a movie, you're like, why didn't you make a movie?
Why didn't you?
And I was like, well, because I am a judge. And then you're like, that doesn't matter. And now you're saying to me, you couldn't make a movie because you're a judge.
Well, I make up the rules.
Every day you change them.
I do change them. Look, there you are.
That's me.
That is you. And tonight, our 99th episode. Can you imagine we got here?
99. What are we doing for the 100th? We don't even know.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Oh, boy.
Oh
boy.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh boy, do I love this movie. This is one of my favorites, babe. And you've never seen it before. It turns out you've never.
I thought I had seen it, but as I was watching, I was like, no, I haven't seen this. I only remember that iconic scene where he's walking down the street.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse. Your Viceroy of Verisimilitude. Your Sommelier of Cinema. Robert Meyer Burnett. And you, this lovely creature next to me, who are you?
I am Elysabeth Gwendolyn Belle, the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
So how do you feel about getting to 99 episodes?
Wow, 99 episodes.
It's too bad we can't count backwards and drink each episode.
Drink each episode?
Yeah, like 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 episodes of Elysabeth's on the wall, 99 episodes of Elysabeth's. You take one down, you watch it again, 98
yes.
episodes of Elysabeth's on the wall.
I like it.
And then we could drink 99 bottles of wine on the wall,
yes,
99 bottles of wine. So we have a good wine tonight for our 99th.
We do.
Fonte Barco.
Do you think maybe you want to change the camera angle?
Do I? I kind of like this camera angle. Look at, hi everybody. You can see all the 7 samurai on the shelf. I like that. And my Saturn award behind my head. That's always a good thing with C-3PO holding on to it. Well, hello everyone. The night before Thanksgiving. We're spending it together. Thanksgiving. This is a red wine, estate bottled. It is Montepulciano de Abruzzo.
Pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
That's Italian. What this is. And is this is a one of your wines from where?
From Thrive Market.
From Thrive Market.
It's organic.
It's organic, and we keep promoting them.
And I was supposed to get another package today.
From Thrive?
Yeah. My wine was supposed to arrive today, and then I got an email saying, oh, your package is delayed. It won't come until after Thanksgiving.
So we won't have it for the 100th episode.
Yeah, and we don't have any wine for Thanksgiving.
We don't have any wine for Thanksgiving. You know what we do have, though? Toilet paper.
Yes, we do.
The Throgman. The Throgmeister. I don't know, man, but Throg is a good man. And we got this giant heavy box.
I just picture that his whole garage is just packed full of toilet paper from floor to ceiling.
Well, he was able to find that at Amazon for us.
Oh, he shops around? How does he get this stuff?
I don't know, but this was industrial strength institutional toilet paper.
It's like the moment we need toilet paper, he sends it to us.
It's amazing. I've never thought that I would talk about toilet paper so much on YouTube. But we've been doing it now for, 9 months? 8 months?
That's insane.
I mean, it is insane. Well, we haven't drank our wine yet.
Let's
open it up a little bit. It smells good. Cheers to that. Cheers to our 99th episode. An episode born of COVID that continues on during COVID. 100 episodes.
Yep.
Now I get people asking me, I've been watching Whining About Movies. You should do this movie. And we've already done that movie. Because we have so many episodes, people haven't gone back into the catalog to find out what we've done. I don't even remember what we've done.
Sometimes I don't either.
Amazing. Well, I know what we did today. Or what we're talking about today. We're talking about Sydney Pollack's seminal 1982 romantic dramedy, Tootsie.
Yes.
And like I was explaining when we were doing Austin Powers, this is my favorite kind of comedic film. It's set in the real world. And the comedy is derived from character and situational. It's not a parody. It's not over the top. A lot of comedies take place in comedy world.
Yeah.
But this movie takes place, it's got its feet firmly in the real world of early 80s New York City, and I love it.
You do.
I love this movie. I think the screenplay, Larry Gelbart wrote the script. Barry Levinson did an uncredited rewrite on it. So did Elaine May. The pedigree of this film is really impeccable. You know who shot this movie?
Who?
Owen Roizman, who shot The Exorcist.
Oh, very cool.
And widescreen photography, and it is one heck of a movie.
Who wrote this?
I just said that. Larry Gelbart, Barry Levinson, uncredited, Elaine May.
Okay.
Great screenwriters.
Three, yeah.
4, actually, because Murray Schleskel wrote it, although I don't know him. I know that he wrote this movie, but I don't know him. So, anyway, and this movie's cast. This movie has a great cast. Jessica Lange won an Oscar.
For this?
Best Supporting Actress. Mm-hmm. You've got the wonderful Terry Garr playing and you've got Dustin Hoffman as Michael Dorsey. Sydney Pollack, the director, plays Michael Dorsey's agent. Mm-hmm. Dabney Coleman is in this movie. Charles Durning is in this movie.
And Bill Murray.
And Bill Murray is in this movie. And you know who else is in this movie?
Who?
There's a black woman who is one of the technicians at the soap opera. Mm-hmm. Her name is Lynn Thigpen. Now, Lynn Thigpen passed away in 2003, but do you know why Lynn Thigpen is immortal in cinema history?
Why?
Because she is the voice of the radio station in the movie The Warriors, and you only see her lips and upper mouth.
I don't know that movie.
Well, hello, boppers. The baseball Furies dropped the ball, made an error. You've never seen The Warriors?
No.
Well, anyway, Lynn Thigpen is immortal. Immortal in cinema history, and she's in this movie, too. This movie is great. I mean, I think I shouldn't... Gina Davis is in this movie.
She is. She is in this movie.
So, what is this movie about?
Okay. So, this movie is about an actor who is out of work. And he's
temperamental.
He's out of work because he's really difficult to work with.
He's a pain in the ass.
He's a real pain in the ass.
And no one will hire him.
No one.
I mean, he was playing Leo Tolstoy.
Yeah.
And when he's dying, the director wants him to get up and walk to the center stage and die. And Dustin Hoffman's like, Michael Dorsey's like, you want me to get up when I'm dying? He argues with everybody.
Yes. Yes, so he has a bad reputation, not only in New York, but also in Hollywood. That's what his agent tells him.
That's what his agent says.
And
his CAA agent, George Fields. I mean, it's so... This is the first time, I think, in a movie, I could be wrong, where you actually see that CAA appears. And I've always wondered, was that a set, or did they actually go to the CAA offices and shoot this? I mean, I'm sure it's a set, but it still cracks me up every time I see it.
Yeah.
And that was back in the the 80s. I have the book about CA Powerhouse, right up there at the Creative Artists Agency. But this was like the first time I remember seeing CAA and learning what it was. And I was like, is that a real place? Was George Fields a real agent that really worked at CAA? But it's Sydney Pollack. So Michael Dorsey can't get a job.
He can't get a job.
But he wants to. His roommate.
He has a roommate, Bill Murray,
who's writing a play called Return to Love Canal.
Right.
And they want to raise $8,000 so they can put it up.
Right. And he has a friend, a very good friend, who is also an actor, but she doesn't seem to get any roles either.
And that's Terry Garr.
Terry Garr. The
great Terry Garr, who played Roberta Lincoln in the last episode of the second season of the original series of Star Trek. Mm-hmm. With Robert Lansing, which was a backdoor pilot for another TV series that didn't actually go. She's also Roy Neary's wife in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves Terry Garr, and she's great in this movie.
She is.
I read The Second Sex. I'm responsible for my own orgasm. This movie has great lines. I love this film so much.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah? Well, that's please. That's some scintillating commentary. Yeah.
Well, it also has a much deeper
I know
commentary.
Well, so what I like about this film, though, is in the beginning, the way it's set up, you see a montage of Michael Dorsey's life
Yes.
over the course of about 2 years, how he
Yeah.
dond get roles and how he's a pain in the ass, and yet
And then he's doing these workshops for actors.
yes, he's teaching actors how to act.
And then it's his birthday.
And it's his birthday, and he doesn't like that.
And he's coming in to his apartment with his roommate, and his roommate says something about, what's your name? And he says his name, and then he turns on the lights, and they're like, surprise, happy birthday, Michael Dorsey.
Dorsey. Michael Dorsey directed Godzilla,
Dorsey.
King of the Monsters.
Sorry, whoops.
Who you met.
I did.
You met him when he had us come to the...
I did meet him.
You met Michael Dorsey. This is Michael Dorsey.
Dorsey.
But you gave me a chance to name drop. And you name dropped.
I didn't do that on purpose.
I just like that you did. And then I can come out and say, yeah, we went to a screening he invited us to of Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
We did.
Which we did.
Okay, so...
Well, I mean, what is interesting about, what I really like about this is it gives you this milieu. The world of the non-working actor, the struggling actor in New York City. And it's done in a very sort of naturalistic yet very funny way. And Michael Dorsey and Jeff Slater, his roommate, have this kind of fun rapport. And it feels, as the viceroy of verisimilitude, it feels real. Like you feel that the people, did you feel the people were real in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you buy into it. It's not too over the top.
Right.
And you feel that you're like, I love that you're seeing into a very specific world of these people.
Yeah, you are.
And then, Michael's getting older, he's worrying about working, and he finds out that he takes Terry Garr to an audition for a soap opera. Right.
Well, first he practices with her, and she's very self-deprecating, and she thinks she's not good enough, and so he's trying to help her. It's supposed to be, the role is for a really tough woman,
a tough hospital administrator.
Yeah. So
Dorothy Michaels.
Right. Well, no, the character's name is Emily Kimberly.
Oh, you're right. But Dorothy Michaels is, yes, right.
Yes.
I'm messing up. Yes.
The character's name is
Emily Kimberly. Yes.
Emily Kimberly. And so he's practicing lines with her and trying to get her agitated so she will be a tough person.
Yes.
When she goes to the audition. So then she jokingly says, after he gets her to do the lines properly, she says, well, what am I going to do tomorrow when I don't have you to make me angry? And he's like, okay, I'll take you. So he takes her to the audition, and she goes in, and she immediately comes out and says, I can't do this. They don't want me. They told me I'm not the right look. I'm not tough enough. I don't look tough enough. And so he takes her home. Or no.
Well, no.
No, he's about to take her home.
He finds out, he asks if one of the actors that's on the show is there, and they tell him, no, he's not on the show anymore. He's going to do Death of a Salesman.
Right.
He's going to do this play on Broadway or something. And he freaks out.
Freaks out.
And he goes in and he runs to CAA. He runs to CAA and he goes into Sydney Pollack's office, to George Field's office.
Yeah.
And there's that's the great confrontation. This was my part, George. You're my agent,
Right.
And they have this great monologue. And Sydney Pollack, who directed the movie, is also that character. Is so
okay.
Yeah, he's so good. He's been, every time he shows up in a movie, he's great. He's in Eyes Wide Shut. He's great.
Okay.
And then he's going back and forth. He's like, no one. They have this whole back and forth, and he explains nobody will hire you, like you said, in Hollywood. And then
yeah, he's like, nobody will hire you. So, ding, 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 bells go off in his head.
And I think what happens then, no one will hire you.
Right.
And he's like, I'll get hired. And then now I'm not saying the jump cut is, well, it's not really a jump cut, but it's a cut that's one of the most, I think, famous in cinema history. It's not as famous as the bone turning into the satellite in 2001. But when Sydney Pollack says, no one will hire you, it cuts to New York City streets. People are walking toward the camera.
Yeah.
Busy sidewalk.
This is the scene that sticks in my...
Yeah, you hear the great score. This movie has a great music score. And it's got great songs in it. But the music score is really, really good. And it's by David Grusin. And Dave Grusin did a lot of this kind of music in the 80s. But it's this great. It's got horns and stuff, and you see Dorothy Michaels walking into the camera. This
Right.
long lens shot, and it's just great.
It is. It's great.
Now, what did you think of Dustin Hoffman as Dorothy Michaels?
Oh, I thought she. I
They
thought
better use those right pronouns.
I think
You don't want to.
I think they were fantastic.
It's great.
I mean, he doesn't make a very beautiful woman, but that's
No.
kind of the point.
That's even a plot point.
It is. But yes, so he dresses up as a woman, and
He's very proud of being a woman,
yes, and
Dr. Brewster.
he goes to audition.
He goes to audition for Southwest General in the role of Emily Kimberly that Terry Garr went to the day before.
Emily Kimberly. And he goes into audition, and the director is a total misogynistic dick.
Dabney Coleman,
Yeah.
who we saw the year previously in 9 to 5 as the boss that Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and Dolly Parton torment after he tormented them.
Right.
He was in War Games. He was like the great early 80s ubiquitous all-purpose dick. But I mean, he was great. He had a masculine presence. He kind of looks like the comedic Sean Connery in a way. With his mustache. You know, he's got that kind of Sean Connery, but he's a comedic actor. He's a character actor, but a comedic actor. He's great in this too.
He is great.
He's great. It's just this misogyn. I mean, what's so great is he acts like he's directing Lawrence of Arabia. He's directing a soap opera, and he's dressed like Brian De Palma. He's like wearing, I swear to God, he's wearing like the same kind of jackets Brian De Palma wore. It's so great.
It is. And so, immediately the director is like, "Oh, you're not the right type," and she unleashes on him. Yeah, she tells him off, and the producer, who is a woman,
Tough-nosed lady.
Yeah,
And I don't know her name, but she's great too.
She is great.
She's great. The acting in this movie is great.
It is. It's good. And so she's like, "Whoa." And so Dorothy goes to leave, and she follows her out and tells her to come back, that she really liked what she did, the way that she talked to...
It's really interesting. She goes, was that for real? Were you acting in there, or was that for real?
Yeah, were you acting just to get an audition?
Just to get an audition.
Was that for real? And
now, let me ask you, as a woman, when Dorothy Michaels tells off this director, as a woman, were you like, yes?
Yeah, yes. You know, a lot of women don't have the courage to do that.
I don't know anyone like that. I think all women have that courage.
Well, they should.
I know. I was just saying, I'm trying to be like, I'm one of those self-actualized men that would never.
Yeah, well.
No, but no. The reason I was asking you is that one of the things I find really interesting about this film is that now that Dustin Hoffman is in drag, you think of him. I don't think of Dustin Hoffman. I think of Dorothy Michaels when he makes that transformation. In my mind, he is a woman.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't sit there and go, oh, he's just playing woman. I mean, I buy into his transformation with his voice and his mannerisms and everything.
Right. You know, he really, it's like putting yourself in the shoes of the other person. I mean, but the thing is, like, he's able to be tough because he's a guy.
Right.
But then he also learns what it is to be a woman as he observes how women are treated.
Absolutely. And then does he get the job?
Yeah, so he gets the job. He gets the job, the role of
Emily Kimberly.
I almost said Kimberly.
The hospital administrator, the tough as nails hospital administrator.
Yes, okay. So he doesn't know how to tell, or he doesn't want to tell his friend, what's her name in the movie?
What is Terry Garr? I don't know. What is Terry Garr's name in the movie? That's a good question. I always think of her as Terry Garr. Sandy.
So he feels bad. He doesn't want to tell Sandy, but he does tell his roommate. And then he goes to the Russian tea room and is standing out front. And
Well, the thing is, he told them that his agent was George Fields at
right,
CAA.
right, which is his actual
His
agent.
real agent, but his agent doesn't know he's now a woman.
So now he has to tell him because they're going to be contacting him. And so he's at the Russian tea room waiting outside, and the agent comes to the door, and she's like, where's the Russian tea room? And he's like, you're standing right in front of it. And so he goes inside and sits down, and she follows him in. And she sits next to him, and he's like,
And what's great about it is not only is she kind of a freak, but she's not attractive. Dorothy Michaels is not attractive, and George Fields would rather be seen with, you know, the hottest young Hollywood ingenue.
Right.
And it's so funny because then what happens? What these producers come over.
So he explains to him who he is, and he can't believe it. And yes, and then these producers come over.
Yeah, because he's freaking out, and he goes, "It's Michael Dorsey." Like he's in his Dorothy Michaels. Oh, this is Michael Dorsey. And Dustin Hoffman is so good in this movie. He is so good both in both roles.
Right.
As Michael Dorothy and Dorothy Michaels.
Yeah, he's great.
Michael Dorsey.
Dorsey.
Not Dorothy.
No. Okay, so yeah. And then he starts like putting his arm around him and being all flirtatious, and he's freaking out in front of these producers. It's pretty funny.
I mean, the line readings, like Sydney Pollack's like, I begged you to get some therapy. It's just all of the lines, all of the lines in this movie, what I like about them is they are one-liners, but they're not. This is very difficult comedy to write. To write funny lines that seem like they're in an everyday. Well, this isn't an everyday, but it's the real world.
Yeah.
And you never feel that anybody is not in the real world in this movie. They're not suddenly in the wacky comedy. The only time that happens is later in the movie, and I'll tell you what I don't like. But there's one scene that breaks verisimilitude for me.
Oh, really?
Just one though.
I'm curious. So, what happens after that?
He goes to work.
Oh yes, the next day he goes to work. Oh no, he goes shopping. He asks for $1,000 because he needs to get clothes. He can't wear the same clothes every day.
And what's so funny is that how did you feel about that? Like he immediately understands. Like I think this movie's smart because it's making the female audience members with him. Like you're with him as Dorothy Michaels. You're like, God damn it, it's expensive to buy clothes. You are absolutely right.
It is. And it's not like a guy. You can't wear the same suit every day.
Right.
You have to change every day. And so he goes shopping, buys a bunch of stuff, and then there's a funny scene where he's hailing a cab, or she is hailing a cab, and this guy jumps in front of her, which happens all the time in lots of circumstances. So anyway, she grabs him out of the taxi and throws him on the sidewalk, and uses her man voice.
It uses her man voice. It's great.
Or like I call your big man voice.
My big man, yes. I do have a big man voice.
Which works to
the dogs.
Yeah. They obey when Rob uses his big man voice.
And the big man voice can carry across a football field if need be.
Okay. So, yeah, he uses his big man voice and gets the taxi. And then goes home. And so the next day, he's, that night he's talking to his roommate and he's like preparing for the next day. And his roommate's like, what the fuck?
He can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, he's trying to help his friend Sandy, who's depressed about her life.
Right.
And he takes her back to her apartment.
Yes.
She's showering.
He really bumbles this.
Yeah, and it's so great. And then while she's showering, he goes and looks at her clothes.
Right. He looks at her clothes and he starts taking he sees a dress on the bed. He starts taking his clothes off to try it on, and she comes out of the shower. And then he's like, and he doesn't know what to say, and then he says, "Oh, I want you."
I won't, because he can't. He's taken the role that she went up for. That has
I
now
know,
made her, and he
but
can't.
now he's like saying that he wants her when he really didn't.
Well, no, he didn't, but he's trying to spare himself embarrassment.
Yeah,
and so
but he really fucks this up. So
it's so painful though, but so funny.
But it's so painful for her. Like, that's not.
Well, not
right.
yet.
It's funny how he learns.
Sandy, I want you.
He learns how women are badly treated, but then he badly treats Sandy. So it's like this juxtaposition between him being a woman and understanding women and being kind and comforting one of the actresses that he.
Well, that's later.
Yeah, but then he also mistreats Sandy at the same time when he's a guy.
But he knows he's doing it.
He knows
he
he's
knows
doing it.
he knows he's doing it, and he feels guilty. He can't. He's trying to be helpful. He's trying to spare her feelings about. Well, I stole your part. I stole the administrative part you were going up for. How is he going to explain that to her?
Right, but he shouldn't have slept with her. So he sleeps with her, and then they end up being a couple.
Sort of. Because then he has to start work as Dorothy Michaels.
Yeah. So then he's balancing, like, how to hide this from Sandy and how to not hurt her feelings, even though he's getting deeper and deeper into a mess where he's going to definitely hurt her feelings. And, yeah.
Well, so, and when he goes to work, what's really interesting is all of the qualities that, I mean, this screenplay, this is one of the great screenplays of the modern age in terms of structure and in terms of how it works, because it's funny, but the way it sets up the character's peril and what he's doing is every step of the way he's getting deeper and deeper and deeper into a situation.
Well, that's what happens when you deceive people.
Well, and
you have to create lies to hide your lies, hide your lies that hide your lies.
And it's so brilliantly structured because he winds up deceiving everybody. He's deceiving Gina Davis. They share a dressing room.
Yes.
He is deceiving everybody that works on Southwest General. Then he sees Jessica Lange as the star of the show and immediately falls in love with her. It's like love at first sight. But she's involved with Dabney Coleman.
Yeah.
And he knows he's a philandering asshole. But then he's got the job. He could have left well enough alone, but his because of the kind of guy he is, he can't leave well enough alone, and he starts rewriting his scenes. And he allows his version of a woman, his version of a strong, liberated woman, suddenly starts coming out of him.
Well, because he's a guy, and so he's not afraid to say those things. So he says it as Dorothy, and stands up for himself and for other women in the soap opera. And the producer, she's loving it, and the fans are loving it to see this strong woman, stand up for herself.
No, it's fantastic. And she becomes a hit. We see a montage where she appears on like Miss Magazine.
Yeah.
She's in Life Magazine. I mean, she becomes and you see women around the country watching her.
And sending letters. They send her tons of letters.
And people are stopping her when she comes out of the studio after they filming it for the day. And the men, one of the lead actors, George Gaines, who plays his character's name is John Van Horn. John, a great name for some scion of East Coast royalty or whatever. But he's in love with her because she won't let her kiss him. Yeah,
right. Because men. Well, I'm not going to speak for men.
Please, from a female perspective, please.
Men are attracted to strong women, and men are attracted to women who push them away.
Yes, they are, and dominate them.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. She's like attracting all these guys.
She's attracting all these guys.
The father of Jessica Lange, and the actor, the doctor in the show she's on.
Well, she hasn't met Jessica Lange's father yet.
Right.
But what happens is then he gets into this. There's a new world that we've have his world that we are now leaving, and we're going into the world of. It's a soap opera, but the New York working actors making a show world, and he goes to parties, and he's trying to carry on a relationship with Terry Garr, and he gets invited to things now, and Dorothy Michaels is getting famous, and so he's moved into this realm that he's always wanted to be in, but it is now fraught with peril, because it was
only supposed to be for a certain amount of time. And they end up loving him so much that they want him to sign for 3 more years.
I think it's a year.
Another year. It was supposed to be for 3 months, and then they want him for another year. And it was a clause in his contract, so he can't really get out of it. So he's freaking out to his agent. He's like, I need out. I can't do this anymore. And so his agent's like, nope, you can't get out. He's like, well, can we just kill her off? Can we kill Dorothy off? And nope, can't do that.
And he's like, you'll be prosecuted for fraud, Michael. You've perpetrated. Every woman in America loves you. And what's so great about this is, in terms of a story and in terms of the structure of the screenplay, like I said, the peril gets great because he's literally setting himself up because of this. He just wanted a job. He wanted to act. But now he's going to be the most hated
he
man.
wanted a job to act, to get the money to
put on a play.
Fund the play.
Yeah. But now he's in a position where he's going to be the most hated man in America.
Yeah.
And what's so great is seldom does a movie set up its peril the way this movie does. And it does such a great job of upping the stakes all the time. And you think it's going to be it like a fun romp, but the more people are influenced by Michael Dorsey and Dorothy Michaels, they have all the characters have an emotional connection to Dorothy Michaels. All these people, the people that he works with, the actresses that he works with, and Jessica Lange, who he's falling madly in love with.
Well, they become very
friends.
Close friends, and she, she can open up to him because she thinks she's a she, and she admires Dorothy's strength.
And he knows Dorothy. Well, Michael Dorsey knows that her boyfriend is cheating on her.
Right.
Is a philanderer, and he can't say anything, and yet he's kind of pushing her and asking her questions to sort of re-examine her own life.
He's trying to lead her to figure that out, and gently, and
But also because he wants her.
He does.
So in a way, he's a character that you want him to be only a nice guy, but he's also using his duplicity to get what he wants. So he's also doing something that is fundamentally morally reprehensible.
Well, I mean, their friendship just grew over time, and he found himself really being attracted to her.
Yes, but this is why the script is so great, because it puts him into morally ambiguous territory.
Yeah, so now he's like stuck. He doesn't know what to do. Like, he's falling in love with her, but he's, as Dorothy, she's her best friend basically. And she doesn't know how to get out of it, how to express her feelings for her, but as a man.
As a man. No, it's true. And it is, I mean, it's funny and it's so entertaining, but it's also really, it has a lot of things to say. There's a lot of things going on in this movie on a dramatic level that really, really work.
Yeah.
And as he's getting deeper and deeper and playing Dorothy Michaels, and the funny thing is, he might have been able to sustain this for 3 months, but for a year, there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way, and he knows that.
And he knows that.
I mean, it's a huge lie. I mean, it's really hard to keep doing that.
And he gets pulled down, and I mean, he's getting pulled in deeper and deeper, and then Jessica Lange's character, Julie Nichols, asks her, Dorothy, to come spend the weekend with her up at her father's farm where she grew up.
Right.
And he's like, of course I'm going to go. And at the same time, he's not calling Sandy back, and she's calling him, and he makes dinner plans with her. And
he misses the dinner plans.
He doesn't show up.
Julie.
I mean,
he's in deep. He's in deep.
No, and he's in deep on so many different levels, which is why this movie it works far beyond just being a funny rom-com dramedy. I mean, it's got a great premise, but it's examining this premise from so many different angles, that's why I love it so much. And so what happens?
So they end up going to her dad's in upstate New York, and they have a really great time. And then the dad is like falling in love with
The dad
Dorothy.
falls in love with Dorothy Michaels.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, the plotting of this movie, the way it just keeps getting more and more and more and more peril. I mean, on many different levels. And as you're watching this, you're with him. You're always with Michael Dorsey / Dorothy Michaels. You're always with him, but you're watching him. You're like, how did you feel? Like, the more he dug himself a hole, did you like that? Were you entertained by that? And were you going, oh my God, don't do that? Oh.
Well, I mean, it was inevitable. Like, how can you sustain that and keep trying to balance and hide what you're doing? That's not possible. You can't.
No. But I mean, did you feel the tension? I mean, there's great tension too in this movie where it's like, bruh.
Yeah.
And
yeah, when her dad starts falling in love with her, you're just like, oh my God, how is he going to get out of this?
It's so great. I mean, it's just, I saw this movie. This movie played at the Cinerama in Hollywood, and my uncle got me a pass so it would only cost me 50 cents to go to the movies. And I saw this movie. I saw Arthur the year before, and I saw this movie at the same theater. And I saw each 4 times.
For 50 cents?
For 50 cents. I could take a friend. Me and a friend for 50 cents.
Was that cheap in 81?
Well, no, I had a pass. Because he was the president of Pacific Theater, so he got me a pass.
Okay, gotcha.
So the people that own the ArcLight, he used to be the president of that company. So I would go, and I wouldn't tell anybody. Like, I didn't want my friends to know I was going to see Tootsie more than once.
We're not talking about Mrs. Doubtfire. They're like saying it's Mrs. Doubtfire.
No, it isn't Mrs. Doubtfire. This movie is not Mrs. Doubtfire at all. I mean, this movie I think this movie is an infinitely better film than Mrs. Doubtfire. Not that Mrs. Doubtfire isn't good, but this film is it's aspiring to do more.
Yeah.
And so you now have Michael Dorothy Michaels has been picked up for a year. America's Women she's their hero. Julie's dad is in love with her. Yes. Julie is breaking up with her boyfriend because of Dorothy Michaels pushing her to be her own woman.
And he's falling in love with her.
His friend,
Sandy, he's blowing her off, and she hates him. She's hurt.
She's hurt, and because he's hurt her.
He's hurting her.
And Bill Murray is like just standing back and watching this car wreck in slow motion.
So.
Well, it leads up to one night of hell for him, where it's so great because they just escalate. They escalate the peril to the point where no one knows he's not Dorothy Michaels, but his life becomes unbearable because Les, Julie's father, proposes to him.
Yes, and she doesn't want to take the ring, and he's like, no, take it. You need to think about it.
I mean, and all of this stuff, he has one night, a long, dark night of the soul, where it's just unbearable. And the tension, it's so great.
Well, this is after, he asks her to marry him after he has this weird moment with Julie, where she's telling her how close she feels to her and how she wishes she could have that kind of relationship with, romantically. And so he misunderstands. He thinks that she's hitting on him, or he forgets that he's Dorothy.
No, he forgets he's Dorothy because he
leans in to kiss her, and it is so awkward and it is so uncomfortable, and he basically ruins their relationship.
Yeah, because she thinks she thinks he is a lesbian.
Right.
And
she basically tells her, I can't see you anymore. I mean, I love you. I love our friendship, but I can't see you anymore. And she's like, you need to tell my dad.
Yeah. And it just goes from there. And it escalates because he's coming into town. So all of these things are, and it's so great. I mean, in terms of a third act, there are seldom movies that have this kind of you go from the second act into the third act that just, I mean, this screenplay is so tight and it's so good. Mm-hmm.
There's even a scene where the one actor, what is it, John from the
George Gaines.
George Gaines.
Yeah, the
comes over, follows her to her apartment
after the situation with Julie.
Yeah.
George Gaines is waiting, follows her back home.
Yeah, and is like, "Oh, let me in. Can I come up to see you in your?"
Because he wants her too. Because
and because she's a strong woman, and so she's like, no, go away. I'll talk to you tomorrow on set. And then he starts singing and serenading her from down below, and it's late at night. And so all her neighbors open up their windows, and she's like, fine, come up here. And so he does, and he proceeds to come at her.
Comes at her
himself at her.
And from the perspective of 2020, with all of the Me Too moments, and you know what happens, I mean, he's basically on the verge of...
Oh, he's gonna rape her. He's drunk, and he's gonna take advantage of her.
He's gonna take advantage of her.
And and at that moment, I mean, I kind of like that they included that scene because
I think it was important.
Because women, I would say 99% of women find themselves in a situation where you're like, oh shit, this guy's going to hurt me or try to take advantage of me. And it's this horrible feeling that you get in your stomach, and there's nothing really you can do because the person's way stronger than you are.
Right, and you don't want to escalate it to a situation where violence can happen.
Yeah.
And so, do you capitulate and allow somebody to have their way with you, which is horrible?
Yeah.
And so, and I'll tell you, I mean, in a comedy movie, this could have gone suddenly really, really dark.
Yeah.
But it starts to go that way.
Thank God at that point, Bill Murray walks in and stops the whole thing. Because
it's what's so great about it is, and this is another reason why this movie is so great.
Well, because I was thinking, like, what could he do? He could then just reveal that he's a guy and punch his lights out.
No, but he can't tip his hand. He has
can't.
to.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and the thing was, it was gonna the whole rape situation was gonna lead into a position where. And you know, nowadays when you hear about like trans rights and things like that, there are many trans women that have found themselves in these situations, and men that's how they wind up dead, you know. And
right,
and
then it enrages the guy.
Yeah, it enrages the guy for many different reasons, and so this situation is it is a very difficult situation, but the movie is actually plays it correctly. Because as soon as it starts to really escalate it doesn't get too uncomfortable, even though we know it's going that way.
I mean, yeah.
And when Bill Murray comes in, then the situation is completely flipped, where George Gaines is like freaking out that he was a rapist. And he's like, oh my God, I can't. And he's like, I'm so sorry. Like he's so, because men are dicks, but.
Well, but also he thinks that they're together.
Yeah, he thinks that they're together. And the expression on Bill Murray's face.
He's like, do you want me to leave?
Yeah, I mean, it was so. It goes from what it could have been really, really dark. It goes in that direction, but not too. He comes in and it's a laugh out loud.
It is.
Just and
I mean,
this
it took
is
a very tense situation and really flipped it, because it could have. I was like, they're flirting with some really serious subjects.
Oh, but they definitely deal with it. They don't make light of it. But you have Jeff showing up the right time where he saves her.
He saves her.
And again, and that was kind of you, and Michael Dorsey's like, you would not believe the night I had. And then he's there, and then of course Sandy comes over, you know, to keep the night going. Sandy shows up. You know, trying to come in.
Yes, she shows up.
And he's got a cover for him.
He still is dressed up as Dorothy, so, I mean, you know, Bill Murray is trying to help him out and tell him he's in the shower, and it takes like about 10 minutes, and so when she comes in, she's like pretty pissed off. What's taking so long? I could hear you guys in here. Why didn't you open the door? And this is the moment where he breaks up with her.
Yeah, he breaks up with her. And that's when she says, I'm responsible for my own orgasm. I read the second sex. I mean, it's just great. And it leaves this poor woman who is herself a strong woman, even though she's got emotions and she's
well, that's the thing. She's not a strong woman. She's very down on herself, and she's always apologizing, which is what women do. They apologize for things they shouldn't be apologizing for, and she's always like, trying to smooth things over, and
But-
she's making excuses for her weakness, and
that's true. You're right.
which is how a lot of women are, because you find yourself in situations where people take the power.
And it's done realistically in this movie, you think?
Yeah, and so that's why he's not attracted to her in that way. But that's also showing the results of the male domination, of putting women down. And I don't, most men don't do it on purpose. It's
Do you think this movie, I'm enamored of the screenplay, but I'm thinking about more from a story standpoint, but from the standpoint of a woman, do you feel that this story plays fairly with the plight of women and what's going on? Because I do.
I mean, I think it sheds light on some of it, but they could have gone more in depth. I mean, the fact that Dorothy is not attractive, yet she's attracting all these guys, that is one side of the coin. Men are very attracted to strong women, but also men wouldn't even give the time of day to an unattractive woman.
That's true, but one of the things that all these men get to know her.
Right, they get to know her.
They or him. They do have interaction. I mean, maybe she's not physically the most beautiful woman in the world, but they are attracted to who she is.
They are.
Not knowing that she's a man.
Right.
But I mean, I do think, now, do you think this film, because this film, it has a couple of things. You're dealing with Julie's character, who's this beautiful woman that could probably have anybody she wants, but she's got this douchebag boyfriend director. And there is a great moment where Dorothy confronts him in the apartment, Dabney Coleman, and calls him on all of his shit.
Yeah. And
basically gets him to admit that, yeah, I'm that way, but I mean, I can't help it. I mean, I have to be a philanderer. It's what I do, and he's like, you're full of shit, Ron,
Yep. So
there is a lot of good social commentary in this film.
For sure.
That's why I think this movie was nominated for Best Picture, for 1982, and while it would never win, because I don't think comedic movies do, I do think, I mean, they do, but not, like, there's other movies that are more important, but I would dare say that for a movie that's 38 years old, this film is still just as relevant today as it was when it came out almost 40 years ago. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And then, of course, Michael Dorsey now has the problem of, how does he get out?
Right. So, yes, he needs to get out of the mess he's in. So, because at this point now, Julie won't even talk to him, and he's just like, he needs out. So, they're doing a scene where they're honoring...
Well, they're doing a scene, it got wrecked again. They set it up early that the videotape that they record to, sometimes the technicians fuck it up. And this time they fucked it up, and they have to do a scene live.
Oh, right.
So they're doing a scene live, and it's Emily Kimberly's birthday party.
Is it, or they're just honoring
her? They're honoring her
it's
for
some sort of
party. It's her party.
Yeah, and she's at the top of the stairs, and I guess he decides, like, this is the perfect moment. It's live.
Because they can't cut away. It's live.
It's live.
They're live on national television, and they can't cut away.
Right. So he comes down the stairs, and he comes up with this elaborate backstory about who Emily Kimberly is.
Who she really is.
And it's like this really crazy story. I don't even remember the details.
It's a great moment where everyone is freaking out. And to be honest, I'll tell you a secret that I've never told anyone.
Tell me.
When I was working on Tango Shalom, and you have in the dance competition, we cut to all the different perspectives. I was thinking about this movie because there's all these people watching there in the control room. You've got Bill Murray watching. You've got Terry Garr is watching, and you keep cutting back
and forth
to all these people.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, that's what we needed. I'll never say that, but whenever I'm working on a movie,
you're saying it now.
I'm saying it now, but there's always
there's no shame in that.
No, but that's how I learn. I'm thinking about in that movie we do it much differently and more of it,
right?
because the people at home play a part in the story. But in this movie, they cut to these different people, and they're all watching. Everybody's watching. All the characters in this movie are watching this thing happen.
Yeah. So in the end, he tells this crazy elaborate story, and apparently Emily Kimberly has a brother.
Edward Kimberly.
Edward Kimberly. And he rips off the wig and says he's Edward Kimberly. He starts taking the makeup off of his face.
And everyone freaks out.
And
it's so great. All the characters that have been in the film that have interacted with her all have this response. And they all respond.
Right.
I mean, Terry Garr
screams.
The
producer kind of smiles. I think she kind of thinks this is great for ratings.
Right. That's what she's thinking. She's like, I'll be damned. Like, she's really into it. And then the last one is Bill Murray. He's like, that is one wacky hospital. And I mean, it's so well done.
But Julie can't believe it.
That's again why this script is so great. The one person he loves the most, that he respects the most, that he's gotten to know the most, is the person that he most betrayed.
He did. He betrayed her on multiple levels. And she's really hurt.
She's really hurt.
Yeah, and so then what happens?
Well, I mean, and then he has to make amends. Like, he goes up and he sees Charles Durning. He sees Julie's father.
Right.
And they're going to have a beer together. And it's even in this, when he's making amends, the film never, as a comedy, he has to pull out the wedding ring that Charles Durning gave him. And it becomes a funny moment, but also poignant and emotional. I mean, the way this movie threads the needle between comedy and drama is, it's so good.
It is.
It's just so good. And I admire this movie so much on so many different levels, because it is truly, when Hollywood studio filmmaking is at its best, this kind of a movie gets made. And this movie was a huge hit.
Huge. It made so much money.
It was a huge hit.
For a comedy.
But it was a huge hit because this movie is truthful. And there is so much in this film that is good. And I don't know if anyone in Hollywood today could have made this movie.
Right. Well, they could have made it, but I don't think
that would be as good.
A hit.
Because it would have been dumb studio notes. It would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie where Sydney Pollack was an A-list director. You have people like Larry Gelbart and Barry Levinson working on the script. You have A-list actors. I mean, to me, this movie represents when Hollywood firing on all cylinders. I mean, this is a studio movie through and through, but it is a brilliant film.
It is.
It's a brilliant. I think so. I mean, I don't mean to take away.
No. I really liked this film. I thought it was very good.
I mean, in my mind, it's probably my top 20 of all time. And a lot of people don't, know that about me. They're like, well, your favorite movie must be The Empire Strikes Back. Look, I love The Empire Strikes Back. But the movies that I really love that are memorable to me are movies like this and Almost Famous and All That Jazz and All About Eve, all the A's, and I just, so then he makes amends, and then the very end of the movie is, who does he go see?
What do you mean?
He goes to see Julie. He waits outside.
Right. Well, yeah, you were talking about how he had to give back the ring to her.
Oh, right. So, but he has to go make amends with all these people.
So in the end, he is waiting outside the studio to see Julie, and she's walking down the sidewalk, and he approaches her, or I don't remember.
She does. She's walking down the sidewalk. She's like, I don't want to see you, and walks away.
Right.
And he follows her, and he says, I was a better man with you as a woman than I ever was as a man with another woman.
Yeah, and then he says that being a woman was the best part of his being a man, or something like that. Yeah. And
then she lets him walk with her.
Yeah, and then he starts talking to her, and they start, warming up.
I mean, And that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. When the movie ends, did you find that, do you think that Julie and Michael Dorsey could have ever had a relationship that continues on beyond this movie? Or would she never trust him ever again?
No, I think that they ended up in a relationship because, you know, they became best friends, even though he was acting as a woman. And he even says, like, he needs to connect with that part of himself to be a better person for her. And I think that's what he does.
See, I'd like to believe that too, because, you know, he does. She's like, "Why did you do this?" And he's like, "For the work." You know, he didn't start trying to.
He didn't start off trying to
people.
deceive her because he was in love with her. He didn't even know her.
Right.
He was doing it for the money.
Yeah, and he would have been in and out and gone, like, you know, nobody would have been the wiser. If he'd only been there for 3 months, he might have pulled it off and no one would have known.
Right.
So, well, let me ask you, what did you think of this movie?
I think this movie's great. I think it's very well written. The story is interesting, and I love the discussion of this idea of a man putting himself in the shoes of a woman and really learning what it's like to be a woman.
Do you think he did learn, though? Do you want to believe that?
He noticed things that he wouldn't have noticed as a man.
And he even says that to he says that to Jeff, his roommate.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he has made enough money as Dorothy Michaels where they do put on.
They do
get to, and Terry. And it's funny because when Terry Garvey last see her, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to do this part. I might hate you, but I'm a professional and I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to go home. I'm going to do this part.
We can't be friends, but I still want to do this part."
And they do.
Yeah.
You know, they all and that's another great thing about this movie is it ends. It has a great ending. It's very hopeful. You know, at the end, it's not.
Yeah, he manages to get out of the mess he was in and actually make his play come to life, and even gets the girl.
And you don't know this, you don't see this, but I like to imagine that Tough as Nails producer spun this and says, "Oh, we were planning this the whole time. What do you think we weren't?"
Well, yeah.
I mean, like, right. She got
definitely
out,
takes credit.
Yeah, she got out in front of this, and it becomes the greatest soap opera twist in history.
Yeah, right.
And I think I have to tell you, I think maybe one of the reasons too that I love this movie so much is my mother has watched General Hospital since I was born. So we're talking over half a century of my mother watching General Hospital. And my mother got me addicted to General Hospital in the 80s. And we're talking, this is post Luke and Laura getting married, but we're talking about Anna Devane.
No way. I didn't watch that show. I watched Days of Our Lives.
Oh, no. I was Robert Scorpio, Anna Devane, Jack Wagner, and Christina. Oh, my God. My favorite redhead on TV. It was... I got into General Hospital because of my mom, and then when I went to college, I would time shift. I'd record on the VCR. I showed my mom how to use the VCR, so I'd come home from college and I'd have 5 episodes of General Hospital to watch. And so there was a period of time for like 5 or 6 years where I watched General Hospital because of my mom.
You watched soaps, but you don't like sitcoms.
Well, but soaps are ongoing storylines, and that's what the stories would. I got sucked in, and look, I know that Mondays and Fridays soap episodes are the most important. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were mostly filler, but whatever. But I'd have to watch them all, and I would do that. And when you had a VCR and skip the commercials, so the '80s, I was very connected to General Hospital. So the idea of a character being on a soap opera,
this movie.
It is absolutely part of the reason why I love this film.
The redhead was really a man.
Mm. No, because she married Jack Wagner. I don't know if they're still married, but no, I did love, and I love that milieu because I'd never seen, you know, there was other movies that, like Soap Dish and stuff like that, but this movie was dealing with how does a soap opera made on a daily basis, and I was fascinated by it. So there's an actual filmmaking point of view in this movie.
Interesting.
We have a letter.
Okay.
We have a letter to read. And, wait a minute, where did the letter go? Oh, here it is. It's right here. This letter comes from Tony Day. Hey, Rob and Elizabeth. Hope you're doing well, and I hope the stores stock up with toilet paper again soon. I love the show's great entertainment. How about Dawn of the Dead for the 100th show. I'm not sure if you have the Second Sight Films 4K version as yet. What do you think, Elizabeth? Do I have the 4K version of Dawn of the Dead? Thanks to Mr. Dieter Bastian. Guess what arrived from Europe today? Feel the weight. Feel the weight. Doesn't that feel like important? Doesn't that make you feel?
It feels heavy.
Doesn't it? Does it make you horny?
No.
Oh, it makes me horny for this movie, though. Anyway, let me continue on with Tony Day's letter. Arrived for me for the weekend, and it is amazing transfer with all the amazing extras, well worth the wait. I'm thinking of sending a second letter describing my obsession with Romero's films and with Dawn of the Dead in particular. Oh, please do. Oh my God. Hard to believe it has been so long when I first watched the film as a young kid in the 80s on Betamax. For a future show, I think it would be entertaining if you reviewed Peter Jackson's early films. That's a good idea, actually. Bad Taste, Brain Dead, and Meet the Feebles. It would be great to learn both the Goofy and Guy film rating on these films from 1 to 4. That's for you, babe. Goofy and Guy film. Goofy and Guy. This is your thing. Tony Day is clearly...
Yes. I think I called it a dude movie.
Also, thanks for the recommendations. We loved The Autopsy of Jane Doe and also The Wretched. By the way, our Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival entry 2020 may be a little Romero inspired. Oh. All the very best and keep safe. By the way, Tony, your film...
Tony and Samantha, your film 2020 debuts tomorrow as part of our Thanksgiving extravaganza. Very cool.
2020 is... 2020 is... I don't want to ruin it. It has a murder hornet in it. Yes, it does.
Oh, why'd you ruin it?
It doesn't really... you know from the beginning.
Yeah, that's fine.
But so 2020 debuts along with a lot of other movies. You got to watch tomorrow on the Burnettwork. Every hour for a number of hours there's going to be films debuting for Thanksgiving, and I've kept some. Yeah, I've kept some, and it's going to be a big day tomorrow for the international. Pardon me, I say international. The Intergalactic.
Don't fall asleep because you had too much turkey.
Yeah, no. But the great thing about YouTube is that these shorts will still be up.
That's true.
Let's see. We'll go back and see who has what to say here. We'll go and jump in and see what people have to say. Throg Spotting says, Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. I'm Corona Throg. Well, Throg, you know what? My ass always thinks of you because you keep it clean. Thank you very much. Evan Gearhart sends in a super chat and says, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark for Whining About Movies 100th. Well, as it was pointed out to me by one of our female viewers, it should be a romantic movie, and I should leave it up to you. So while I'll consult, I'm willing to consult. I do think that the 100th episode, it is your show, babe.
Yeah, that is
your
true.
Show. John, one of two, says, Hi, Rob and Elizabeth. Tootsie is one of my favorite movies. Cheers to that. It's one of my favorite movies. At the time it was released, I was not going to too many movies in a year, but I saw this one twice. It sparked my interest in seeing all of Dustin Hoffman's work. Cheers. Let's cheer him again, because I didn't drink. Cheers. A spectator became a member of the channel. Well, thank you, a spectator. As you know, I'm going to be well, you don't know, maybe. I'm going to be dropping the drunk Moonraker commentary I did that I was afraid to put up. But that'll be the first official exclusive video for members. I don't know what to say about it, but there you go. I think this might be Joseph, his number 2. Well, Anonymous is here. Anonymous says, just wanted to say, hey, happy Thanksgiving in advance, and please continue to be safe during the pandemic. Now, how in the world do you not have any wine for Thanksgiving? Doesn't some kind of incredibly handsome and humble soul enroll you in a wine club? Well, they have.
Yes, well, but we drink it for the shows.
Yeah, so... and we yes, but we haven't got our
bottles just disappear from the stash. And so that's why we don't have any more wine. Just saying.
I don't know what you mean. John, with his second part, says, "What did you think of The Graduate?" I love The Graduate. Plastics. I love The Graduate. I had it on Laserdisc. I had it on DVD, and I have it on Criterion Blu-ray now. I love The Graduate. So good. John says that, and then John goes on to say, "What did you think?" Oh, what did you think of that? Was twice. It happened twice. I don't know if you.
You want to know one of my favorite Dustin Hoffman movies?
Please. What is one of your favorite Dustin Hoffman movies?
What is it called? It has a long name. I just had it in my head and it just like escaped.
Well, what happens in it?
The Magic Emporium of Mr.
Oh, Mr. McGorm's
Mr. McGorm's
Magical Emporium.
Magic Emporium. I love that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
I love it.
I
think it's so good.
Well, that's good. I'm sure Dustin Hoffman would like to hear that. I mean, you're not an Outbreak fan when Dustin Hoffman wanted to become an action hero? What about Kramer versus Kramer?
Yes, I love Kramer versus Kramer.
So good. My parents took me to that.
The Graduate. Those are all good films.
Joshua Levesque, one of our moderators, says, "Hey, Rob and Liz, I just want to thank you for such an awesome show. You two are dynamite together. Truly can't wait to see your Free the Toy show," which we're going to do. Laugh out loud. Also, I have a few recommendations for episode 100. Avengers Endgame, Rogue One, and Joker. We saw Joker together. Mm-hmm. I think, Josh, those are good movies, but I think we need to do something special. Like, not that those aren't special, but I don't know. I don't know what. I'm still.
I don't either. What about a Tarantino film? We have not done
Quentin Tarantino.
And there's several that I really love.
Okay, which ones?
Well, you know I love the Kill Bill movies.
I know you love the Kill Bill movies.
I love Django Unchained. I even like his last one, the what is it? Hollywood?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That might be a good one to do. You know what? If we lock it in that we're doing Tarantino for the 100th, I think that's a good idea. You brought it up. It's your thing. But you've never seen True Romance, which is a movie that Tarantino wrote.
Oh.
Which is a romance.
Well, if you think that's a good one, then we can
I
do that
love
one.
True Romance. Tony Scott, the late, great Tony Scott, directed it. I think people liked it for 100th. But I don't know, because I think Quentin Tarantino is one of the most important filmmakers. I mean, talk about Free the Toys. I mean, you know.
That's right.
Just be careful. That's a recent addition to.
Oh, wrong camera.
Well, I can actually change the camera for you. You just have to be careful. I mean, I have to weight the jacket. What I tried to do was pose him in his meme pose when he's looking around.
Look who that is.
There you go. Yeah.
Our favorite Scientologist.
I love this figure, by the way. It's really well done. Do you know this figure
is.
came with a couch?
Really? Where's the couch?
Well, I haven't put it together yet.
Oh my god.
Comes with a couch.
Well, we'll do that when we do Free the Toys.
Yeah, we can. Well, yeah. Just be careful.
I'm being careful. Jeez Louise.
All right, there you go. So we'll have to talk about that, but I think a Tarantino movie is a really great job. Josh, thank you for the very kind words, and thanks for being such a great moderator. It means a lot. You know, my volunteer moderating staff, one day we'll get them paid somehow.
One day when we're making buco bucks.
Claudius is here. Claudius at CAA sends in a tip. You're a tomato! A tomato doesn't have logic. A tomato can't move. Well, that's what I said. If it can't move, how's he going to sit down? So good. So good. Claudius says, Sandy, okay, wish me luck. Michael Dorsey, fuck you, Sandy. Thank you. Michael Dorsey, fuck you, Sandy. I mean, that's up. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go. He says that to keep her mad, to get her.
That's right.
It's so great. It's so great. Claude knows. He's up on how great this movie is. He gets it. Warren Wright sends in a super chat and says, Rob and Liz, love you both. Can't hang tonight. Sending my love and love to your admins.
Aww.
Well, that's very nice. Thank them. Warren Wright goes on to say, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, everyone. Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you for all your support, sir. He sends in a super chat that's very nice of Mr. Tickle Trunk. Tim is here. Timbula the Spider Monkey. Firstly, I really enjoy this film. It's one of my top picks of Sydney Pollack's films. Secondly, well, you know what Sydney Pollack also directed was Out of Africa. So we're going to have to... Secondly, since the last WINEning, I rewatched Austin Powers. Okay, I liked it a fair bit more this time, but still not a favorite. I get why people liked it, though. You know what? If we can cause people to watch movies again and maybe change their opinion, I think our work is done.
That's right.
I think that's good. Oh, Warren, right? You. This is very generous of you. Thank you so much.
You.
This okay. One more. As I'm not always here, Rob, Liz, and all the folks and the admins here, I love you all, and you all give me a lot of love, and I'm happy to be here. I give thanks to everyone. Thanks, everyone, for all you do. Well, Warren, I mean, that is very, very nice of you, sir.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you and yours have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I hope you're safe. And it's nice to have you here at the channel. And thank you for that support. It's very nice. But more importantly, I like that you like our show.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we're providing entertainment. If we weren't providing entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, I love doing this show with you.
Yes, it's fun.
One of the things I'm most thankful for in 2020 is we have this show that we're doing together.
Yes.
Don't you think that's great?
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, we didn't have, like, as a couple, we didn't have something that was ours.
Yeah. I mean, we would just hang out and watch movies and stuff, but it's great that we have a show together where we can talk about the movies we're watching.
We're talking, and you're a YouTube star. You become a YouTube star.
I don't know about star, but
I don't know. People love the Enchantress of Entertainment. Let's hoist your glass to the Enchantress of Entertainment. So, you know, with 2020 kind of being a major bummer, I mean, it's been a highlight doing a show with you. Like, it's not like I do a show with anybody else, like together in the same room.
it's true.
We don't have to quarantine apart.
I know, because we're like always together.
We're always together. Didn't you say that our biological fauna is the same? You and I are the same, and so are our dogs.
Our microbiome.
Our microbiomes are
we share microbiomes.
We share microbiomes. Okay.
We share bacteria.
Mm-hmm. As any good couple does.
That's right.
Mr. Tickle Trunk sends in another super chat. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. It never stops amusing me reading Mr. Tickle Trunk. Claudius goes on to say, speaking of threading the needle between drama and comedy, have you guys seen HBO's Succession? I have not. And I've wanted to watch it so bad. The cast is really, one
Is
of the
that a show?
It's a show, and one of the cast members, one of the secondary actors from The Big Short, stars in it.
Your favorite.
I know.
Maybe we should do that.
I think. Well, we're gonna get HBO Max now that it's on Fire Stick, because there's so much on now, and they're putting, Wonder Woman's gonna be on at Christmas. We got to get HBO Max. Yeah. Candide and I think this is a brilliant series about awful people inspiring huge laughs, awesome one-liners, as well as tear-jerking scenes. Well, I've heard Succession's great, and we haven't seen it. We got to watch. It's another show. Now, we started watching Kim's Convenience.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
It's good. It's starting to. I mean, I've only seen 3 episodes, but takes a little bit for it to get going. But I'm sure it's gonna get super good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because I finished Schitt's Creek, and that was excellent. And I finished Amy in Paris.
Amy, yeah. Yeah.
Emily in Paris. Which at first I was like, this is gonna be so cheesy, but.
Darren Star never disappoints. Melrose Place, Central Park
and
West.
They found the most beautiful Frenchmen and put them all in the show.
Did they get naked?
No, but one of them is topless. Like when he answers the door to his apartment, doesn't have his shirt on.
So what? Don't you want to see peen?
But they're not gonna
French peen?
They're not going to show peen on a show.
It's streaming.
They're not going to show peen on a I think it's PG or I don't even know.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever.
Come on, man.
I want to watch Succession. I want to see it. I mean, I love the cast, so. DKG Custom sends in a super chat. Thank you so much. Festival film is nearly done. The kids have done great considering the immense learning curve and COVID lockdowns. The score is amazing. So proud of them all. Me just filling in VFX and being a dad. Well, I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people are telling me they're finishing up their films. I never knew. Just so everybody knows, I've been a little, to be honest, disappointed in the views for the film festival, but I realized I haven't really promoted it enough. So I've actually made a trailer for the festival, and for the first 2 weeks of December, we're gonna have Facebook ads. We're really gonna be promoting the film festival, and hopefully somebody might interview me, or I'll do some online press about it. So we'll see. What?
Apparently Liz isn't peen friendly.
Oh, she's peen. You love peen.
I love peen. Especially when it's wrapped up with a bow.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Hashtag make a Zed.
We're waiting. Hey, Cal's here. Swac Props is here. By the way, Swac Props, he made me a book from the 9 gates of the Kingdom, from the Ninth Gate. He made a red one.
Oh.
That's dope. And I just want to say, can I just say, Cal from Swac Props makes the best book recreations on the internet, and apparently online influencers are trying to get him to send them free shit.
Really?
Only I get free shit from Cal from Swac Props. Don't you gotta pay for that work, man. As a matter of fact, hand me that envelope that's right there.
That's a lot
See
of
that
work.
envelope?
Yeah, but
Can you reach it? Not that envelope.
well, I know.
Since Cal is here and I haven't even read what I just want to take a moment. I don't know if this is the right one. Let's see. No, that's not the right one. I just want to since Cal is here, I have to show his work because I don't know if I have the actual. So Cal, our man Cal, what
I think you have to change the camera.
Oh yeah,
so
let me
people
change the
can
camera.
Really see.
So Swac Props, what he does, if you go to his Etsy store, is he makes recreations of books and paper products from movies. Now, I don't know if you could see it. This is the map that he made to the Lonely Mountain where Smaug lives. This was both in Lord of the Rings and in The Hobbit. This is the Lord of the Rings version. This is exact. I mean, he made this look exactly. I worked in art departments on movies. I have never seen a prop like this. And Cal made this, and if you go to his Etsy store, Swac Props, SWAK Props on Etsy, amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing.
And this kind of craftsmanship.
Yeah, and Christmas is coming.
And you know what? Buy something from Swac Props because his work is amazing and it'll be one of a kind for the movie fan in your life. Go check his work out; it's amazing. But he also sent us a tip. By the way, I didn't do that. This is not a Swac Props commercial because he gave me a tip. It's a Swac Props commercial because he sent me one of the 9 gates of the Kingdom of Heaven.
And his work is amazing.
It's amazing. His work's amazing. I mean, if you were any Lord of the Rings fan, which, by the way, coming out for 4K for the holidays, if you want to give your Lord of the Rings fan a unique gift, getting one of those maps of the Lonely Mountain and the map there and framing it nicely, I'm telling you, it'd be great stuff. So Swac says, Dustin Hoffman has proven himself to be such a versatile actor over and over again. My favorite performance of his will always be as Carl Bernstein in All the President's Men. And lest we forget, he also gave a very laid-back Satan. He gave us a very laid-back Satan in The Messenger. You're right. The Luc Besson film. Amazing. Ross Gecko sends in a super chat and says, many Tootsie rip-offs. Mrs. Doubtfire, Big Mama's House, even Shakespeare in Love. Is there anywhere for the cross-dressing genre to go, or is it officially passé in our modern world of gender fluidity? That's actually a really good question. Because now, gender fluidity, there's a lot of people that cross-dress. There's a lot of people that are gender fluid. Some people dress as a woman one day and as a man another day. That's a good question. What do you think?
Well, but this deals with how women are treated. So, I mean, there are still women in the world. We're not all transgender.
Right. I would say, like, there's 98% of the women in the world are still, women.
And they're still, like, being mistreated. So, yes, I think there's still a place in the world for that.
I mean, yeah, it would have to be a great story. I mean, I do think, though, that, there is a risk. What's interesting is, like, the trans community, you're dealing with still, you're still transitioning from one to another. So there's still a binary aspect of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Blair White, who's a YouTuber that I know is very controversial in the trans community, I watch her videos. I find them interesting. I like her. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting question, because I do think this movie is, despite what anyone says, male and female roles in our society they still exist.
They do. They still exist.
And the fact that we have this.
I mean, it's gotten better, but it does still exist.
No, I mean, we're dealing with Harvey, still in the Me Too movement. I mean, men have been victimizing women for, a million years. Since we were beating women over the heads with clubs and dragging them back home to our caves. It's not like we've reached a total détente.
Right.
There's no peace in our time. I mean, men and women, and frankly, I think human civilization, the tension between men and women, that frisson is important.
Yes,
I think it matters.
It is important. But it's great to have movies like this that can show what it's like to be in the other person's shoes. I mean, this man literally got into a woman's shoes and became a woman and felt what it was like to be, treated by men the way, that other women are.
Right. And I think, there are people that might tell you this particular film is not necessarily about whether or not people have gender dysmorphia or whatever. It's literally about a man stepping into a woman's world.
Right.
And it's not ambiguous. This is a woman's world. And it does rely on the fact that, yes, there are men and there are women, and they are different, and the way they go about their daily lives is different. Even though I would say that what I find interesting about this movie is this movie has a spectrum of male, people talk about toxic masculinity. This movie offers a spectrum of masculinity.
Yes.
In the sense that Charles Durning, Julie's father, is a typical man's man. He's simple, but he's salt of the earth, and he's a nice person.
Right.
He is a man that he might, and even Julie, his daughter, says he's very simple. He says what he means, and yet he's got a kind heart.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you have Dabney Coleman's character, who's a fucking dick, who he embodies everything wrong with men. Mm-hmm. And then Michael Dorsey is a guy that wants to be a good man, but he keeps fucking up. And George Gaines is a different, the older soap star. So this film offers an entire spectrum of maleness, which I think is great. It certainly gives you a much better, and I think
it also gives you a spectrum of different womenhood.
100%.
There's like the strong woman, there's the not so strong woman, and I think it gives you a spectrum of both sides.
Yeah, and I think this movie is very intelligent in that way. Mm-hmm. Nowadays everything is so.
That's why I asked you who wrote this, because I was wondering if there was a woman writer as
Elaine
part
May.
of this.
Elaine May was part of it. Mike Nichols and Elaine May were one of the great comedy teams. Elaine May has gone on to become an incredible writer-director herself. Making movies. I think, didn't Elaine May, maybe she did The Holiday? I don't know. She's done a lot.
Really? I love that movie.
She's done a lot of movies you would love. And that's the thing. I mean, what's so weird now is everything is so, even in being a non-binary person, you're still saying I'm non-binary, meaning I'm not just one or the other, but you're still basing your identity on the binary idea of men and women. And I think that we can't. Men and women are fundamentally different people.
Yes, they
are biologically, scientifically, and it all stems from that. And we can't pretend that isn't the case, even though I think a lot of the time we do. And I've talked a lot about like whether it's LGBTQ. I think those are naturally occurring things as well. Once we can measure that, I think those are as naturally occurring parts of humanity as anything else. We just haven't figured out a way to actually measure that yet,
Yeah.
but we will. And I think that people that are non-binary, people that are transgendered, are just as natural as anything else.
Yeah.
It's part of the spectrum of humanity. And I think that until we come to grips with the fact that we're all part of that spectrum, as opposed to being in our tribes, when are we going to live in a world where we consider ourselves all members of the human race?
Right.
Because that's what we are. It's one race. It is the human race, and there's a spectrum of different kinds of people, but we all fit under that umbrella. And that's the way I've always thought about it.
Yeah.
We're all part of the human race. There is one race on this planet of humanity. One. And we are all part of it. We are all part of the same race. Anyway, but this film does play with those. I mean, it'd be interesting to talk to people now. How is it looked upon now, 38 years later, from the prospect? Like, I'd be curious to have a lot of, like, what do young people think of this movie? Like,
Yeah,
if you're in
that'd be
college,
interesting to know.
where there's a lot of people are fighting for their rights or trying to be heard or trying to get their own voices, what do they think of this film? Does it still work for them? And that's what I find interesting, is that when you go back and you look at films, they obviously, depending on your age and how old you are, when you change your perspective, and there's a lot of young people coming up that have very different ideas, and it doesn't necessarily, their ideas aren't invalid, but how do they look at art that's old? Do they just see it as problematic, or do they understand, like, okay, I get that this film has a lot to say and it's still worth watching?
Yeah. I mean, I think it does still have a lot to say.
I know, but we're old. I mean,
Speak for yourself.
I know, but the real question is, and it's not for me to say. That's why I love listening to other people tell me what they think, because I can only say what I think, but what other people think doesn't make them wrong.
Right.
And that's the whole point of this channel, is every person you meet. So, Ross Gecko, a great question that I think I perhaps am not, I'm not qualified to answer that in terms of the modern world, because in my mind, this film has already solidified its position in my mind as a great film. Someone who's younger, who's just seeing it for the first time, might have a different attitude. I'd love to hear from anybody. If they do have that, please write in or contact us. Old Man Throg is here. How about more Finches for the 100th? Finches, do you mean Fincher, or is this something I'm not quite getting? Finches.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Timbula the Spider Monkey sends in a tip again. Did Yukimori move from the shelf? I didn't see her in the wide shot. Love the Yamato girls. Yukimori is up top. I moved her higher. She is, you can actually, no, you can't see her, but she is up there. She's one more shelf up above Elysabeth.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have moved her.
Well, she's still there. I will never get rid of anything to do with Space Battleship Yamato. So she's still... I love the Yamato girls, too. I only have one, though. Count Throgula goes on to say, how about The Natural with Robert Redford or Bull Durham? I showed you Bull Durham, but you weren't down with that. You didn't love it that much. The baseball movie with Susan Sarandon and Kevin Costner.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. Yeah. When you go, yeah. You don't go, oh my God, it's so good. If you go high, you go, yeah. But if you go like this, it's like, oh my God, awesome. Yeah, it was all right. Count Throgula says, how about The Natural with Redford? Such a good movie. Bull Durham, happy Thanksgiving from the Throgs. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yes,
I guess it would be on the East
Thanksgiving.
Coast. It's now Thanksgiving.
That's true.
Mr. Tickletrunk says, shh, Liz, shh. YouTube star, shh. Shh. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Warren, you've been such a good friend to us. Thank you so much. Bruh, it's the best show on YouTube. You're lucky you can do it with your girl. 4 glasses. Aw, Warren.
That's so
Oh, come on, give me a kiss, baby. What's up? Doing it with my girl. All right. I love that.
Don't break them. Okay.
Sounds amazing. A spectator says, did you see Berserk yet? I think you mean the movie based on the anime Berserk or the manga. I have not. I have to tell you, I know the most. There's a channel called Gem Mint Collectibles, and I'm a Geminite. I watch Gem Mint Collectibles, and I know more about Berserk by watching Gem Mint's collection of Berserk statues. I have not seen the show, and I need to see the show. It's something I want to catch up with, and I've been thinking about it a lot. Julius is here. Julius Goodwin. I knew it was you, Julius. The anonymous one asking about the wine was me. I forgot to add my name. Seriously, even the Pinche wine is gone? Oh, that was one you loved.
Oh, yes.
We have to get more of that.
Yeah, I loved that wine, and then you drank the second bottle. And I said, don't drink it because
but we saved the first bottle. Remember, I let you. We didn't drink the whole bottle. We drank the whole. I saved the second part of that. We got to get more of that wine. It's really good. Also, if you didn't get the shipment for November, let me know. It said it was delivered and signed for. Well, it is the end of November. We might have got it at the front.
We did.
And we drank it on the show.
Yeah.
It was. You know what it was? It was the.
No, it was 2 bottles of white wine.
Yeah, it was 2 bottles. Well, we didn't we drink one on the show?
I did. I think we did.
Yeah, we did drink one on the show. Mm-hmm. We did get that, Julius, and thank you.
Yes,
and that was good. Candida is here, one half of the official. We've got Claude and Candida, so we have the entire official couple. Looking forward to Out of Africa and The English Patient. Well, the two of you are doing those with us. Tarantino for the 100th episode. Then how about Kill Bill 1 and 2?
Those are my favorites.
Well, then maybe that's what we should do.
I love those movies.
Why don't we watch them again?
Why not?
I mean, if Candida's saying it and you love I know you love those movies.
I do.
So let's do that.
Okay. Thank you, Candida. You decided for us.
So that's what our 100th episode's going to be. Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. Or, as I saw it once at the New Art Theater, Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair. I saw the whole put together as one movie.
And that's what they called it?
Yeah, but by the way, folks, let me just tell you that the version of Kill Bill that I showed you was the Japanese version of Kill Bill that I have, where the end, the House of Blue Leaves sequence is not in black and white, and it's not edited. It is the original whole bloody version. It's all color, and there's a lot more violence.
Yeah, so that's what I showed you. Get your hands on the Japanese version.
Yeah, and it's never come out on Blu-ray either. I have the DVD, and it only came out once in a very special box set.
Yep.
Just saying. I think that's a great idea. So that's what we're doing. I'll make a thing for it tonight and put it up when I'm putting up all the movies. Okay. Kill Bill 1 and 2. Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair. That's what we'll call it, because that's a great idea. Well, listen, it is 9:06. We're 96 minutes into the show. And it's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving on the West Coast. Claude and Candida are already in Thanksgiving mode.
That's true.
Is Spencer up with them? I don't know if they're going to have a big... I don't know. Do you have family coming over? I don't know. I thanked everybody today for Thanksgiving. I think, do you have any words of wisdom on this Thanksgiving that you can give to our audience?
Words of wisdom. Just be careful.
Just thank them for watching our show.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've done 100 episodes and that you guys have stuck with this show and have shown me so much love. I mean, it's mind-blowing. I had no idea when you got me into this that it would be this. And I love this show and I love doing it and I love interacting with you guys. So, thank you.
Did you think you would become the ace?
No.
When you started the show, you weren't the ace.
I wasn't the ace.
This was a name that was hung on you.
That's right.
By the audience.
Yeah.
I too. I mean, I want to thank all of you for watching this show and tuning in. I know it means a lot to the two of us.
Yes.
That together we can do this show and be entertaining. Thank you for the support. It's been great through tips and super chats. Thank you very much for that. It keeps the lights on, literally in here. But the letters that people are sending and the community that we're building, I want to thank people like Claude for coming on and Roberto Suarez for coming on. And very thankful. I mean, one of the things I'm thankful for this year is doing the show, like I said, with you.
Yeah.
And that we have an audience of people that watch, and the audience is getting bigger all the time.
It is.
And it's been fun watching. I mean, the great thing about this movie is this is actually we've watched 100 movies already because we did a double feature. And so when we do our 100th episode, it'll be of 102 movies, right? And I can count. But how much fun is it that during quarantine we will have watched 102 movies together?
That's insane.
102 movies
and
together.
You know what? I have to say that doing this show with you has brought us closer together. I think that we have a much stronger relationship because we're doing this show.
I do too. I mean, we have a fun time together. We've met people like Claude and Candida.
Yep.
When Claude and Candida, like Claude told me he listened to this show when he was dealing with Candida being sick, and I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm blown away by how many people have written us letters about what their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just doing this as a fun thing, and we have this great community. So, I mean, I hope that everybody has a great Thanksgiving, and I hope wherever you can be that you're with a small number of family members, but if not, that you're with you see them through Zoom, that you call everybody that you love,
Yep.
that you continue to watch movies. I'd implore everybody to come watch the films at the film festival.
Yes.
And I thank everybody for doing that. I love to hear that fathers and sons and daughters are making movies together. I think that's great.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to see it. And it's been great. This has been great.
It has been.
And Saturday night, please join us for the 100th.
Yes.
Where we do Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair.
That's right.
Which is, that'll be fun.
It'll be really fun.
Because we'll watch it all at once.
All at once.
All at once. Well, I guess we bring an end to this episode of Elysabeth's Whining About Movies.
Yes.
So why don't you take us out? Oh, hang on. Mr. Tickle Trunk. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, well, actually, Warren Wright goes on to say, for Rob, Liz, the administrators, and the PGS, are those turkey legs that you're giving us, Warren Wright? I think those are turkey legs, turkey leg emojis.
Awesome.
Or it could be, a girl's ass, but they look like turkey legs. I think they're turkey legs.
No, it's champagne glasses clinking.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, it's I thought it was turkey legs. I'm thinking, of course it's champagne glasses. 4 glasses. 4 glasses for Rob, Liz. Hang on. I'm thinking those are turkey legs from a distance.
Turkey legs.
I love it. Here's to you, Warren.
Ass.
Well, it looked like it could be it's the For Your Eyes Only poster when you see the 2 legs and James Bond's in between them. Sorry, my mind, it works in such... Thank you, Warren. I very much appreciate that. 4 glasses for Rob, Liz, the admins, and the Post-Geek Singularity. Thank you very much. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, in quarantine, shows like this keep me sane. You're doing an okay job, I guess.
I guess.
Well, you know what, Tickle Trunk? My next show will be better, and so will yours.
That's right.
We aspire to do better. So, thank you for that. I'm glad we're keeping you sane. You guys are keeping us sane.
Yeah, totally. Keeping us sane. I don't know. We would have been going really crazy if we weren't doing this show.
It's true. It's true. I do want to tickle Mr. Tickle Trunk's trunk, though. Does he have a big...
Which trunk?
Come on, man. Like, don't go there.
No, man.
Well, of course, that could be... far be it for me to discriminate. Trunks are trunks, right?
Trunks are trunks.
Trunks are trunks. As long as they're ticklish. Right, Mr. Tickle Trunk? Anyway, why don't you take us out?
Okay. Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear.
And all you have to do
is listen.
And I want to give great thanks to my moderating staff. I want to thank Mike Bodden. I want to thank Greg Smith. I want to thank the Richard. And of course, we've got MC Blackcap here. We've got Joshua Levesque here. We've got Robert Pariso here. I don't know. I think we got you all. And I want to thank you guys. I don't know is Robert here? I thought it's
Bunyan.
Is Bunyan Snipe here? Bunyan Snipe's here. Yes, he is. Bunyan Snipe, thank you all the way from the UK. So thank you so much. And you guys are the best. You make the channel great. You make me look good, which is amazing. So, thank you. It's hard to make me look good. I'm aging and dying soon. So thanks for that.
No.
Okay,
we're not dying soon.
We're not. Okay, well, I like you said we're not dying soon. That's good.
No.
No, because we drink red wine.
That's right.
We have cardiovascular health.
We're working on bettering our microbiome.
And we walk. We walk every night. So.
That's right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kind souls, gentle beings, however you identify, from across these 28 known galaxies. I don't know what the 28 known galaxies are. That's just a line from Superman the movie I've adopted and say there's more than 28 known galaxies. We know a lot more than 28.
It's the only ones we care about.
But in 1978, when Superman the movie came out, apparently only Kryptonians knew 28 known galaxies because probably they'd been there. So maybe I should come up with something new. But anyway, thank you so much. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. And as always,
have a better night.
Have a butter knife.
Have some turkey legs.
Have some turkey legs, not champagne glasses clinking. Sorry about that, Warren. I mean, there's where my mind's at.
Or have some champagne.
Or have some champagne.
It's also good for you.
It is good. Is it?
For your microbiome. It is.
Is it really?
Yes.
The Widow Clicquot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. All right. Don't drink cheap champagne.
Well, you can.
We'll see you guys Saturday night for Kill Bill, the 100th episode of Elysabeth, the whole bloody affair.